They called her useless before she ever had a chance to prove otherwise. Her uncle sold her off like scrap metal, too tired of feeding another mouth after her parents passed. Nora was 19, sharp-eyed and slender, but her body bore the cruel rumor she hadn't bled properly in months, and so the midwives whispered she'd never carry life, a husk, a hollow reed. Half the price of a mare, her uncle barked at the muddy market square, pushing her into view. She can cook, mend, and keep her tongue. Any man with coin can have her. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Women clutched their baskets tighter. Men nudged each other. Boys whistled. Nora kept her chin high, though her cheeks burned. She had tried once to belong to the neighbor boy who swore he'd marry her, then abandoned her when the healer said her womb was dormant. Now she stood barefoot in the muck, her dignity slipping with each jeer. The bidding never rose high. No one wanted damaged goods until a voice cut through the noise. "I'll take her." The crowd stilled. A figure stepped forward, broad as an ox with shoulders bent from work, his beard peppered gray though he was barely 30. His coat smelled of horses, his boots of sweat and hay. He placed a pouch of coins on the barrel. No bargaining, no hesitation. Her uncle squinted. "She don't come with warranty, Finn." "I ain't buying stock," the man said simply. His voice was deep, steady. "I'm taking her home." He didn't wait for permission. He turned and walked away, expecting Nora to follow. And she did, because there was nothing else left. Finn's farm sat at the edge of the prairie, tucked against wind-bent cottonwoods. A weathered barn leaned sideways. Chickens roamed wild, and 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, watched from the porch like wary fox kits. "This is Miss Nora," Finn told them. "She'll be staying." The youngest, a girl with dark curls, clung to his leg. The older boy narrowed his eyes. The middle one muttered, "Another one?" Nora swallowed hard. What did that mean? Another one? Day stumbled forward. Nora tried. She burned the porridge twice, dropped a bucket of milk, pricked her fingers bloody trying to sew patches on worn trousers. Each mistake felt like proof of what everyone said. She wasn't enough. She braced for shouting, maybe a strike, but Finn only muttered, "We'll try again," and handed her more flour, more thread. It was the children who tested her most. The eldest, Samuel, sneered when she fumbled. The middle one, Jack, stole bread and denied it with crumbs still on his lips. The little girl, Lila, cried at night, calling for a mother long buried. Nora sat by their bedside, her voice trembling as she hummed songs she half remembered. Slowly, the children's eyes softened. Jack leaned against her knee during supper. Samuel began to watch her with curiosity rather than contempt. Lila curled into her lap one rainy evening and whispered, "Don't leave." Nora's throat closed. No one had ever asked her to stay. One night, a storm raged. The roof leaked, the fire sputtered, and Jack shivered with fever. Finn stood helpless, staring at the boy's burning skin. But Nora moved swiftly. Cool cloths, herbs boiled into bitter tea, prayers whispered through clenched teeth. She stayed awake until the fever broke, her hands steady even as her heart quaked. By dawn, Jack breathed easy. Finn stood in the doorway, his face carved with exhaustion. "You saved him," he said softly. Nora shook her head. "No, I just stayed." "That's more than most ever did," Finn murmured. The weeks turned to months. Nora planted a small garden where weeds once ruled. She taught the children letters with chalk on the barn door. She stitched scarves from old sacks, tied ribbons in Lila's hair, showed Samuel how to read a compass. Slowly, the house, once quiet and hollow, filled with laughter, quarrels, songs. The town still sneered when Nora walked past, whispering barren as if it were her name. But one afternoon, when a gossiping woman called her empty, Samuel spat back, "She's fuller than you'll ever be." Finn heard, and though he said nothing, he carved her a stool by the hearth that night, smooth, sturdy, hers alone. One evening, as the sun bled orange across the prairie, Finn sat beside her on the porch. He rubbed his calloused hands as if words were harder than plowing stone. "When I paid your uncle, I thought I was rescuing you," he admitted. "Truth is, you've been saving us." Nora stared at him, the weight of his honesty pressing tears to her eyes. "You could leave," he added quietly. "You're free to go. I won't hold you." She reached for his rough hand. "And go where? I've found roots here, children who call me theirs, a man who sees me as more than a womb." Finn's jaw tightened, his eyes soft. "You'd really stay?" "I'm not staying," she whispered, smiling faintly. "I'm home." He pulled her close, not with hunger, but with reverence, and for the first time in years, Nora felt whole. Years passed. The garden flourished, the children grew strong, and the farmhouse, once lopsided and tired, rang with generations of laughter. On the gate, Finn carved words that weather and wind could not erase. "She gave us a life that blood alone could not." And long after the prairie grass swallowed fences and storms wore down the barn, travelers who passed would stop, read those words, and know that once, on this patch of stubborn land, a woman thought worthless became the heart of everything. And that is the story of Nora and Finn, a story of broken beginnings, quiet strength, and love that grew where no one expected it to. If you want more tales of devotion, grit, and second chances on the frontier, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because out here love is never easy, but always worth it.